we've now progressed to the next section of this course, where we'll get to learn how to leverage DAX calculations in Power BI to support our business requirements. In this first video, we'll begin the discussion by looking at our report requirements and getting a basic understanding of what we'll need to translate those into calculations in our data model. Here's the same set of business requirements that we first discussed in section 1 of this course. Overall, we have a mixture of calculations, filters, and lookup values contained here that we would want in our final report. For this section, our focus is going to be on these calculations. These calculations will make up the majority of the numbers and advanced analytics you will see in the final report. It's also important we understand the business logic and concept behind each of these calculations before we get started. As an example, let's further analyze the most important component of this report, which are the net calculations. If we take a look at our requirements list, we'll see that we have multiple instances of net profit and net quantity listed across multiple metrics. If you break down the concept of any net value, it typically indicates that you're taking a value, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, or adjusting against another value, resulting in a final net value. So when we start creating our calculations, expect that we'll require a similar process to be followed in order to calculate net profit and net quantity. Now, most reports will also expect a certain amount of simpler or more basic calculations. In this report, our basic calculations are the average order amount and the order count, both of which will require just a single function in order to calculate. Other good examples of basic calculations are sum, average, count, minimum, maximum, first, and last. There can be a lot more, but these cover the most important ones. Now, the last thing I want to call out in the project requirements is the most complex calculation we'll need to create for this report. That is the year-over-year amount and percentage. These two calculations fall under a broader category called time intelligence. These calculations apply some type of date logic to a calculation. Typical calculations are often month-to-date, quarter-to-date, year-to-date, year-over-year comparisons, rolling averages, or just general trends over time. The most important thing to know about time intelligence calculations is that they work best when there is a separate calendar lookup table in the data model. So by the time we cover these calculations, we'll also import a calendar table as well, and also further understand the reason behind why we need a separate calendar table. Alright, now that we have a basic understanding of the direction we're heading with our calculations, that about covers it for this video. In our next video, we'll start exploring the report view as we work towards creating our calculations in Power BI.